Yeah, the Ministry of Darkness. Yeah.
That introduced the Brood, Edge and Christian to us. And I love the way that I love APA when they were the acolytes back then with the Undertaker, when they were just straight brutes just coming in, just beating the brakes off you. And that was it. Like, I don't have nothing to say. I'm here to beat the brakes. They had like Midian, they had Viscera, they had a bunch of good characters. Like,
that joint was dope to me. I really appreciated that point. And like the Brood, real quick, just a little sidebar. That's another one of those factions that I think goes unappreciated. Yeah, this is one of they was dope. You had
one of the most fire intros,
hands down. We still got to do an episode, by the way.
Fire.
That joint was crazy. You got a dude coming up from hell with blood in a cup, Gangrel.
And Gangrel, he sold it so well, with the hands coming up with the chalice and everything.
The music hitting everything.
One of the hardest music intros ever.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Edge and Christian, they sold it. Yeah, and everything about that joint was dope, Bill.
The Brood, it integrated so seamlessly with the Ministry of Darkness. And again, shout out to the Undertaker for a small character change there as well, because he went, to like this Dark Lord-esque character where he started wearing the cloaks and hoods, and that's when he started bringing out the druids more and things like that. Like, he just changed. He didn't change the Undertaker for what it was. He just shifted for the character it was trying to be.
Yeah, to me, he just enhanced it to another level. Yeah. Like now he's like you said, he's the Dark Lord at that point. You know what I'm saying? He's coming out. They're doing sacrifices in the ring pretty much at this point. Like, that joint was crazy. It was crazy.
I love that whole era of wrestling for factions, period. Yeah. Like, faction-based wrestling or like group matches and things like that. That's probably my favorite thing to watch in wrestling. Like, that's why I love, Royal Rumble is always going to be my favorite pay-per-view all time. Like, I will never miss a Royal Rumble. But like, all the factions they had, like the Ministry of Darkness, the DX, the Nation of Domination, you had like all of that. Yeah. I felt like that time frame was so unique because you could have such massive matches and so many different parts of the groups beefing with each other. Like, you have the Brood beefing with a section of the Nation of Domination, or like you have the Brood beefing with LOD or whoever the case may be. They had so many different ways that they can go with it.
Yeah, and like the storylines were it was unlimited. You could come in
so deep.
Yeah, and everything was so deep, and everything just intertwined greatly. Like, everything was so dope. Like, when they even did like the corporation, what is it, the Ministry of Corporation or something like that?
Corporate Ministry.
Yeah, the Corporate Ministry. Like, that joint was dope. I'm like, yo, man, there's just so many ideas that they was able to put together, and then Attitude Era just gave us jewels, man.
Attitude Era was a unique time, man. It's a time that we will never see again. I hate to say it. Yeah. But like, society is too sensitive now for the Attitude Era.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Not last.
At all. Oh no, that still get dragged. Like, they'd be getting dragged.
There'd be issues every week. There'd be articles every week about every little thing that is being done.
That's a big fact.
Again, motherfuckers was getting crucified.
Legit crucified. In the ring, dude, getting struck by lightning.
Crazy. It's crazy to me. Like, that's again speaks to Mark Calloway as a person and as a character, his ability to sell that kind of thing, because there's somewhere in the back of your head where it's not real. Yeah. But like, there was always that mystique he had with his character that's like, I mean, I know I'm not supposed to believe this, but he making it hard for me not to believe it. Yeah. Like, that's what I always liked about his character. He there was no limits to what he needed to do to sell it. Like, I love when they brought him back, when it was like, they kept having those screens show up or just like random bolts of lightning. And then that one Monday Night Raw, he came and the casket was just there and he was in it. Yeah. I was like, oh.
They did the Children of the Corn, little girls singing the song and shit like that. Yeah. They did that perfect.
The elements he would just integrate in there. Like I said, I could tell a lot of his influences from like scary movies.
Yeah, you could tell.
Like, a lot of that, it just plays with your mind and like lets you know what's real. Yeah. Well, you think it's real, but like, when you see stuff like that, it's like, it makes you question what you're watching. It makes you question what you're seeing.
The psychological mind fuck that he gave it really fucked me up as a kid. Like, it was legit. Like, I'm sitting there
for
thinking,
30 years.
Seriously, yo. Like, seriously. Like, legit had me like, yo, what? Oh, my God. Like, this dude is, like, he's going to come to my house and I'm going to be
it literally wasn't until,
on the cross.
Like, it was, right. It literally wasn't until, like, 2 years ago when Undertaker made, like, an Instagram where I started thinking, like, oh, shit, Undertaker's, like, a real person.
He's a real dude. Like, he's not just some dude that goes and wrestles and then goes and lays in his lair until his next match.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I'm thinking like this dude like hibernates in a cave until it's time to, you know, activate the druids to bring him out. Like they have to make a ritual in order for him to fight type shit. It's
yeah,
like, dude, like, no, you don't have to get the Infinity Gauntlets. This is a real man.
Yeah,
but like that just goes with the selling of his character, creating his art, and like the way he pushed it, and he really believed in it so much that he made sure that we believe that shit.
Yeah, and he did it perfectly. Yeah. What did you how did you feel about when he had left and then came back as the American Badass? What was your first impression on that?
Initially, I didn't like it. I hated it. But in hindsight, I understand why he had to do it. And then once he started getting more into the character, like when it was first introduced, it was just, I was so set in my ways. I just was used to the deadman. I was used to the deadman. I was sitting here like, I don't want no Undertaker on a motorcycle, you know, just straight rebellious.
Right.
But, you know, just looking at what he was able to do and the way he enhanced his character. And I love the introduction of the last ride. An incredible maneuver, taking just such a simple maneuver like the power bomb and just enhancing it that much more.
Yeah, just by a little lift up, a little extra lift up,
and it puts that much more impact.
Yeah.
And I think what made me start getting more behind it was like when he started integrating dope music, like the Kid Rock, the Limp Bizkit intro. I'm just like,
breathe in and breathe out, hands up, my hands down.
I'm like, okay. I think one thing that helped sell the American Badass character for me was probably the video games. Yeah, like the SmackDown versus Raw.
Oh yeah,
era of the video games really pushed that Undertaker like in your face. Yeah. And like I remember whenever I would create a wrestler, I would always use his intro because you could just ride in on a motorcycle.
Yeah, you got to.
I would just sing the music.
Yeah, you gotta come in on a motorcycle. That was dope. The video games are something else too, because you could go and pick up the motorcycle and just beat people
with it. Like, dude, I sort of miss those arcade days of like the wrestling games.
Yeah.
I really felt like that's what helped push the American Badass for me, was like the video game. Like, I wanted the last ride motherfuckers in the video game. So that's what it was. And it was just like, when I started seeing that, it just translated to real life. I'm like, man, Undertaker's fire.
Yeah, he is.
American Badass is fire.
It was the same thing with me too. It took a little while to get used to this new Undertaker. Because, you know, growing up, you've seen him as the deadman. You've seen him as this zombie-like figure.
And he started talking more too.
Yeah, exactly. And you started to notice his mics, because at that point it was pretty much just Paul Bear talking for him, and then every now and then you hop on the mic and whatnot. And then like he became an American Badass, and you can see that how versatile of a character he can be. Because I just went from this dead man who barely talked and just beat people ass, and now I'm talking on the mic. I'm doing my own promos and everything of that nature there, but I'm still beating your ass. You know what I'm saying?
You're still getting the business.
You're still getting this work. Yeah. Like, this is my yard and I'm the big dog, and all that started to come around and stuff like that.
And one thing I appreciated about it, like looking back at it as an adult, like that's one thing that I like to do, is I like to revisit memories as an adult to see how I understand it now that I know so much more about wrestling. And it's like, it's the little side things that I like to notice. And one thing I love about the American Badass character now as an adult is that you realize that's who the Undertaker truly was as a person. Like that character was a direct personification of his real life self. Yeah. And that made me appreciate his character so much more as an adult, because like, that's something we didn't know at the time. Yeah. It was just like, we probably all thought that Undertaker was this dark, brutish, like, you know, punk kind of character. Right. Just based on his persona. But no, the American Badass, motorcycle driving, beer swinging, you know, that's truly who Mark Calloway was. So I love that in hindsight, reviewing, you know, that character. And
you notice how it humanized him. Yeah, it humanized him. Like, okay, so he's not just, like you say, he's not just some dead figure. He's an actual person, and then like he's brought an element from his actual life into the ring, and just let more of his personality show. And I
felt like he had some sleeper matches during that time frame. Like there were some good matches during there. One of my favorite matches with the American Badass Undertaker was when he wrestled Jeff Hardy in the ladder match.
Oh yeah,
bro, crazy match. I went back and watched that match probably like 2 weeks ago, and like that was one of the few moments where I could recall Undertaker breaking character like on camera.
Yeah.
Like he grabbed his hand and was like, good shit, youngster. I was like, okay.
That was dope because I like that moment as well because you got Jeff Hardy, and Jeff Hardy at that point, he was just known as just the second half of the Hardy Boys. It was him and Matt Hardy, high flying duo, and it was fun to watch. But he became more of a single competitor, and then that match against Undertaker, I think, kind of definitely put him in that main frame.
It legitimized him for sure.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yo, this kid is legit. You know what I'm saying? And
I think that's the reason probably why he had a more successful singles career than Matt. Like, I think that match, I would say that match alone probably.
Yeah, they definitely put him over. Like, you know, that's another thing about Undertaker, man. He was one of those guys that could put anybody over.
And like he had no problem putting you over.
Exactly.
Undertaker always did business, always. That's one thing that I truly respected about him. He always did business.
He was always what's best for the company. And, did you know him and Vince McMahon were such good friends?
I kind of had an idea, but like I didn't realize how close until watching the documentary.
Yeah.
I figured for someone to be a pillar of your company as long as he had been, you have to have some sort of like really, really tight bond and relationship. Yeah. But I felt like the documentary did a really, really good job of another thing in humanizing Vince McMahon as well, and showing that like, Vince McMahon is a character as well in the wrestling world. Right. But this let us see the real Vince McMahon and how he cares for, you know, his athletes. Cause I know he catches a lot of flack for like sometimes the way, you know, the superstars are treated, but you could just see that he really, really understood what Undertaker needed. He made sure he was there when he needed him to be. Yeah. And like he went for whatever he had to make sure his number one superstar that was always there from day one, never left him, was taken care of.
Yeah, and then Undertaker returned the favor as well, man. He remained loyal to Vince. Even when you had the Monday Night Wars going on with WCW, he still remained loyal. He had people jumping ship and whatnot, but he was never one of those guys. Yeah, he wanted to make sure that he made it. He made the WWE. He wanted to make sure that would remain number one and continue forward. And I thought it was dope, like hearing that. It kind of like it resonated with me when he said that his match against Brock Lesnar, when he had got concussed at WrestleMania and he had to go straight to the hospital. And they were saying that Vince McMahon left WrestleMania that night to go with him to the hospital. Yeah, I was like, oh shit. That's when I was like, damn, that was his man's. Like that's his man's right there. That's his guy.
That's his guy for sure. Yeah. Like through thick and thin, Undertaker has always been there. Like that's always a constant you have with WWE. He's like the Kobe Bryant of WWE. He always stayed loyal to his source.
Yeah. That's a real good comparison. I like that actually. Yeah.
I mean, the longevity speaks for itself. And like, I feel like the fan base has always appreciated him for that because the Undertaker has always remained like the pillar of WWE. You know, if you're going to see a WWE product, the Undertaker is going to be there somewhere.
Especially with the big main events. Like you always like the Undertaker WrestleMania match. That was it. He put it perfectly. Synonymous. Like it's the two events that you want to see the most. It's the main event for the title, and it's who's going up against
the Undertaker.
Yeah, who's going up who's going to try to compete for the streak and this streak and whatnot. And like classic WrestleMania matches.
The thing I love about the streak is it wasn't even like a planned thing. Right. What fucking happened?
Right. Yeah, he said he didn't even notice it until like 10 matches in. Like I got to WrestleMania 10 or his 10th WrestleMania match. And he's like, okay, we still got this thing going. And that's when it officially became a thing for him. Yeah, and that's when they kind of decided to promote it and whatnot.
I feel like that was so smart. Like it was so organic because again, perfect person to have make this happen because the mystique and the mystery behind the Undertaker character was perfect. It's like you're chasing this this myth that you're never going to be able to grab. So I always love that element of the streak. Like once they started bringing more